Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We have gotten a... Oh, my window's open. Well, you guys are just gonna have to deal with a bit of the background noise. We have gotten quite a few leaks as of recent, some more reliable than others, and today I want to go over all of them. So without much more yap, let's just get straight into it. The first one is that Blade SP will be in 4.3 as a Nihility character, which we've already known from previous leaks. However, new information says that he can be both a support and a DPS, and that he has two different forms. Think of Phanon, think of Acheron, right? So it's likely the base form is just him, well, how he looks at base, and then the second form is the one with white hair, right? Next, we also have Aventurine SP. Now this is probably the most interesting part of the news, which is that Aventurine SP is in 4.5 and he is an Elation DPS. That's right, a lot of people were making theories for a while now that new path characters would never consist of male ones, because it seemed like they were getting shilled a lot and the game expects those characters to sell well. However, Aven is an Elation DPS, so pretty impressive, and it says here that he's based on follow-up, right? Now, you might be a little confused, right? Because we have gotten leaks before saying that Aventurine's team would use all the new males being released in this version, and obviously this would include Blade and Ashvale. Now the reason this has tripped some people, including me, up is because Elation is known for wanting more of the more characters of the same path, right? Usually you want at least 3, and then you want a max of 4 to fully take advantage of all 4 Elation skills on an AHA instant. So how is this going to work if his best in slot teammates are a Hunt and a Nihility? Well, what happens is apparently Aven is someone who purposefully doesn't want Elation teammates on his kit, and he will likely scale off of not having Elation teammates on his kit. So unlike all the other Elation characters who highly benefit from having other Elation characters with them, Aventurine is being created in the opposite way and actually hates and becomes weaker if you add Elation characters into his team, right? So pretty decently interesting, and you know, we'll see how that obviously goes, right? A little more information here says that Aventurine is an Elation type follow-up unit who can advance AHA instant and trigger follow-ups. However, Aventurine can't be paired freely with other Elation units. The team is forced to include only one Elation character, which is obviously him himself. His mechanics are similar to Evernight. His teammate stacks buff on him, and then he deals damage. Now, I don't know exactly why they specified Evernight here, because someone stacking buffs on a character and then them doing damage applies to nearly everyone, right? But, I mean, it just is what it is. Just kind of ignore that. Now, the next leak we have is about Himiko. A lot of people have been waiting for Himiko information. Understand that it's quite scarce because leakers are usually more stingy when it comes to main push character leaks, so that's why it is that we're getting so little of them. But this leak basically says that Himiko's team on release is most likely going to be Welt, Sunday, and Donhung PT, and that Sunday should supposedly be replaced by Robin SP, who has also supposedly been leaked to release in 3.5, right? Now, you'll see like a common theme among her best in slot teammates seemingly. They have pretty close affiliation with the Astral Express, so I could be wrong, and I'm just guessing here, but I think Himiko might actually scale off of having Astral Express teammates on her team. Now, I'm not sure how this exactly works because I'm pretty sure Robin isn't yet an Astral Express member, and neither are Sunday. However, my only assumption is that through the story, this probably just ends up happening naturally within the next few patches, and then they'd be able to fit this, right? So Sunday should be on the team, but should get replaced by Robin SP, and then Welt and Donhung are also there. However, something else to mention is Anon Leaks also leaked that supposedly Welt should also get kicked out. Now, this shouldn't really be surprising to most people. Welt is literally a standard character. I doubt most actually thought that he was going to be a permanent, slot in a new limited main pushes team. However, what this does imply is that at the minimum, Welt is probably a temporary slot that you can use. So if you have him just on your account and you want Himiko, and especially if you have him E4, I'd imagine, with the extra 30% res reduction on enemies, he's gonna be more than enough, and you won't have to stress getting her best in slot. At least I'd hope so, right? Next, we move on to a leak about Nihilux. Now, take this with a grain of salt. Technically, all these leaks that I've mentioned prior, or a majority of them, come from this same leaker. So it's like, why are you saying that all of a sudden? It's because shit like this always ends up, going crazy and making the rounds on social media, and the doom posting goes crazy. I still think Nihilux is going to be an elation sustain. I always have. This says nothing about Nihilux not being able to be a sustain. However, it says Nihilux has a role similar to Cyrene. She has a transformation, and she can support other characters' elation abilities. This is STC, subject to change, and things could change in the upcoming patches. However, for now, that is the information that we've been given. Now, keep in mind, this does not mean that she'll take up Yao Guang or a Sparksy slot. What it most likely means is that she is an elation sustain, at least in my opinion. And even if she is an elation support, the thing is, Yao Guang is not the one who gets kicked out on literally any elation team. The only thing that would change is that Sparksy would actually probably get kicked out of Silverwolf's team in favor of running her hyper carry with Yao Guang and Nihilux, unless you were to run sustainless with Sparksy, right? So even then, by the way, I do not think Sparksy's getting kicked out because I think she's a sustain. However, I'm just done talking about this. No matter what I say, people are going to go crazy with the dooming, right? And now, for the last piece of information I have for you guys today, it is about supposedly a free 5-star on the anniversary. And you might be saying, Gabby, oh, we already know we get the free 5-star, the golden token. Supposedly, this is not the golden token. This is a completely new way of attaining 5 stars that has never been introduced in the game before. And this is via Sakura Haven. So while it is, as always, STC subject to change, it comes from a source who's pretty reliable. So Sakura Haven says you get a free 5-star given to you by just logging in and pressing claim, but there's a requirement of needing to be caught up enough in the story in order to claim it. Which 5-star and how much story, we don't know. So there may possibly be another free 5-star on the anniversary aside from the golden token, who you can attain after making a certain amount of progress in the game's story, which is pretty interesting, right? I wonder how this is going to end up going, which character is it going to be, or if it's even going to happen at all, because once again, things like this don't always happen. Oh, actually, there is one last leak, maybe for some people who are fans of Aven or Blade, but basically it says here that SP Blade in a way can be considered a universal support. Also, Heo is constantly adjusting their plans. Currently, there is zero plan for SP Aventurine to be tied to Ashvale. Doesn't mean they can't be used together though. And this leak is actually from Anon. That's right, the most reliable leaker in the history of this game came out to leak this. So this does pretty much say Ashvale might not matter at all on Aventurine's team, or at least not matter as much as some people may think. and it's likely that Blade is going to be the most important piece to the puzzle of Aven's team and not Ashvale. Doesn't mean Ashvale can't be best in slot. Keep in mind also, this is Leaker TC. Leaker TC is always like pretty scuffed, right? And Aven is also like 4 patches away, so it probably makes it even more scuffed. However, it's from Anon, so you should always consider it, right? That's all I have for you guys today. Hope you all have a great day. Hope you all have a great night, and peace out.